The mastery of music has to do with 10 pathways to artistry, and they all have to do with the human spirit. The qualities, the personal qualities of creativity, of joy, of courage, of confidence, of tolerance, of communication skills, concentration skills, even discipline skills. These are the things that we bring to our artistry and to our music that are so important that will give us our personality, our unique voice. This first segment has to do with courage. And courage isn't what we might expect initially. Courage, I learned from Dale Clevenger, who will talk to us from the Chicago Symphony, the principal horn of the Chicago Symphony. It's really about choice, about choosing, do you want to do this or do you not want to do this? Is this something that you've made a decision? Then if you believe in what you're doing, then it is so simple. All you have to do is, once again, just do it.
It was a very hot day, about 90, 95 degrees. I'm standing out there in front, in the middle of the first movement. And I noticed my knees were quivering. And I'm playing, you know. And I had a brief rest, and I did a little mental question. Why the hell am I doing this? And I had a very quick answer to myself. Because I have something to say, damn it, musically. And I've been waiting all my life for this opportunity so far. And this is like the answer to prayers. And, you know, I've asked for this, and I've gotten it, and I have something to say musically, and I'll get out here and say it, no matter what comes out. I turned a mental switch, put myself into a virtual trance, and started concentrating enormously, intensely on what I wanted to accomplish musically. And Schulte said something to me one time, it was actually the same concerto I did downtown. It was 1975. And he said, idea, and just before we walked on, this performance will neither help nor hurt your career. Go out and have fun.
This next clip is from our dear friend and colleague Eddie Daniels, the great clarinetist and saxophonist. And it has to do with discipline, because discipline has a lot to do with our personal character and our personal spirit. Very often we want to embrace people that have their act together and that are well organized and well prepared with what they do. Eddie Daniels is going to talk about how to play fast really, really well, but he teaches us that the key to playing fast is within our ability to play just one note well.
When the sound really feels good to me, and I'm loving the sound of the clarinet that's coming out, it's not just slowly, it's I have a way of just going from note to note. Slowing down, you know, a lot of people want to play fast, so they practice fast, or they even practice moderately slower. I slow it down so much slower. You know, not even half, not even a tenth, not even maybe 100th time slower. And listen to the notes, because my feeling is when you slow down things enough so that your whole consciousness can look at it and see it like a high-definition TV, where the pixels are smaller and more defined. Your brain can't take all of that in when it's going fast. But when you slow it down to the really, like play something that 16th notes would play them as whole notes, where you're just holding one note. But your finger is on that string or on that note for a whole note, and you think, gee, I should be playing this fast, but your finger is now getting to feel at home pressing down that spot. And a lot of times when people play fast, they think it's the moving that's the fast part that really makes it, but it's the arrival at the places and being in the place where the finger arrives that really makes the accuracy in the fast. So if you sit on a note for a whole note, one of the notes you're going to move to during a fast passage, you're learning more about playing fast than you are when you move your fingers fast, because you're sitting on that note, Your finger is feeling at home and getting to like what it feels on that note for a long time. And I find when I practice that way, so slowly and just kind of creamy and enjoying, almost playing a fast passage like it was a middle movement of a Mozart concerto, something happens in me where the fingers get relaxed and everything melts. And then playing fast is not an issue.
You know, when we want to be hired for a job, very often you may find that the best player isn't always the person that is hired. It might be the person who gets along with everyone, that people feel inspired to work with. And so our ego and our humility become a very important part of our spirit and our ability to survive in this competitive music world. And when we can be embraced by others for our ability to get along with people and our commitment to our work, then this is going to make us more valuable. One of my favorite artists is Nina Freelon, the great pop soul singer. And I spoke with her about humility, because humility has a lot to do with our ability to get along with people and our ability to be artists and still committed to our work. And what I learned from Nina was, how is it possible for a great artist like Nina to relate to young people who don't have the fame and the success and all of the glory and glitter that these great stars do? What is it that inspires these great stars? And when Nina explains, she unravels this beautiful bowl of yarn, that it's not fame that she's striving for. Is what she strives for is doing something well and connecting with her art, and that is her greatest inspiration. And that when we take these same principles of striving for our art and feeling good about ourselves, then all of the fame and all of the money and all the glory and all these wonderful things will follow, but it's not something that we strive for. We strive for our artistry.
When I speak to young people, one of the first things that I do is have them define success for themselves. A lot of times it has to do with the acquisition of things, perception of others, just things way outside oneself. Very rarely do you hear someone say, I really want to feel good about who I am through my art, and that's going to help me feel like I am a success. You know, the kids talk about riding in limos and wearing designer clothing and having the adulation of total strangers and, all of these other things that I don't judge. We make a list, and we follow them to the nth degree. Now, riding in limos. Have you ever ridden in a limo? We talk about it. Yeah, I'm sure I've ridden in limos before. It's a little hard to get in and out of them, and it isn't, for me, as exciting as I thought it would be. And the getting in and out of them is getting to be less and less, makes it less and less, an exciting thing for me. And then we talk about, well, what is it about getting in a limo that was really exciting? Well, it's other people. Would it be as exciting to get into a limo if no one else was around to see you getting into it? And then we find that really what we like about riding in a limo is other people looking at us and thinking us special. Okay, we're getting on to something. Thinking of you as someone special. Is it better to be thought of as someone special or to truly be someone who is special? And as we keep unraveling this ball of yarn, we get to something very interesting. Self-esteem. We want to feel good about who we are. So no matter what they say, what they really want is that. And you can be confused in this kind of consumer-driven culture that the jeans or the right perfume or the whitest teeth or the blondest hair or the whatever is going to give you these really, really good feelings. And what I try to communicate to my students is that it has been my art that has given me this feeling.
The next pathway to artistry we're going to explore has to do with confidence. And confidence is more than just bravura. There's integrity to confidence that is not an accident. And it has to do with repetition, with hard work, and with something that we earn. Doc Severinsen is one of my favorite artists, not only for his sense of humor, but also the confidence in which he goes about everything. And he's going to explain how he didn't always have confidence, that he had to learn confidence through discipline and through hard work and through doing things step by step. Initially, it was all about talent, and that has a short life. It did not last. But what really did last was the discipline and the work that goes with confidence.
I won the state trumpet contest in Oregon when I was 9 years old. And all I can remember about it is how terrified it was. And every time I went out to play, I was absolutely terrified. But I made amazing results. And my father kind of taught me by rote, because I was a hard learner. He couldn't get me to do practical things. And so he would just take a piece of music and train me to play it. And I didn't study any of the technical stuff out of the instruction books. I wasn't interested in that at all. But my dad would take a piece that was very difficult for me, and by the time I learned that piece, I'd already covered more than the material I would have covered if I had been in the instruction books. But I would get up and play these solos, and by all accounts, from what I can remember, I pretty much played them perfect. I mean, it was like somebody else was doing it. It wasn't like it was me. Then I, at some point, just sort of broke down from all of that. I mean, I had a lip problem and confidence problem and everything, and confused, but I was still able to play pretty well. You know, I played on the road with big bands and all of that. And then I went to New York and I studied with a teacher named Benny Baker. He was Toscanini's first trumpet player at one time. And he was a marvelous teacher. And we just started from the beginning all over again. And I did all the things that I should have done in the first place. And he was also like a father figure to me, and he brought me along. And this time I was able to intellectually know and accept what I was doing. And I built a series of positive points to refer to.
In the Master of Music, I had the great privilege of speaking with over 120 great artists over these 10 topics of the human spirit. And one of the highlights of these interviews was talking with Dave Brubeck about how he discovered rhythm and integrating his unique approach to rhythm of multiple meters, of swinging in 3 and 5 and 7 and 9 and all these different wonderful things. Where did that come from with Dave Brubeck? What I learned from Dave was not only that he learned this by paying attention to his body, but by paying attention to everything. He has no filter when it comes to inspiration. Anything that he experiences, he listens to, and he finds a way to integrate that into a piece of music. And this is a beautiful tool of creativity, that when we can be open to honoring all the thousands of thoughts that we get in a given day, and paying attention to that and using that in our life as opposed to just ignoring them, then we will find that there is so much more available to us. So let's enjoy David Brubeck explaining how his unique approach to rhythm was learned and experienced, and the real message has to do with listening and having to do with letting it go through your body.
I was raised on a 45,000 acre cattle ranch my dad managed. 25,000 acres.
Hard to imagine, no.
Yeah, you know, it's...
As far as you could see?
Oh, in some places, yeah, but it was huge. It was 25 miles across.
Oh my gosh, that makes it more real. Okay.
And he'd send me to do something like pump water for the cattle. And the engine was that you used to pump the water had tremendous rhythms that were never the same. And you'd have to stay there to be sure that the engine didn't stop. So I'd be there for hours. And it was so hot in the summer in Northern California that that engine was on a 2x12. And it ran back under the tank that you were pumping water into. And I would lie down on that board and just feel that whole vibration in my body and put other rhythms against it. Because there was nobody to talk to, nobody to see, nothing to do except wait for that engine to fill the tank.
Wow.
Sometimes it took hours. And then getting there on the horse, I would put rhythms against the horse's gait. And it was usually a walk, once in a while a trot, and just put other rhythms against it. Because, again, all you've got with you is your mind. You know?
So in conclusion, the mastery of music is not about what we do, but it's what we bring to the play, how we express ourselves. The creativity, the passion, the courage, the confidence, our ability to relate to other people, our ability to get along. These are the important qualities that we will spend our entire life developing and should be a real legitimate part of our music education.